the box office. Minecraft. Movie news. Welcome to Mirror Domain's Movie News, your place for entertainment headlines. And indeed, this is a live news show for movie fans where we'll talk about all the trending movie news headlines of the day, including, what movie is going to stop Minecraft at the box office this weekend? We've got 3 big movies coming out with Warfare, Drop, and The Amateur. Will either of those movies unseat Minecraft at the box office? We'll talk about that, as well as our Drop movie review that we'll do first. And then we'll talk about Batman casting. Brandon Sklenar weighs in. He wants the role. Fantastic Four has some more images. Orphan 3 is underway, is it? I don't know. So is Happy Death Day 3. And then a Secret Predator movie released a trailer this week. We'll talk about that. And then finally, Stunts will have its own Oscar category in 2027. We kind of knew that, but now it's kind of like being talked about again, and we'll talk about that because Stunts is something that I have the highest respects for in the movie making industry. So, Drop. I feel like we're going to talk about this first, and then we'll get into what's going to be at the box office for the numbers. Sorry, I'm just trying to get all my movie news logos up here. All right, movie review. There we go. Let's turn off the live chat just in case somebody chimes in with something irrelevant. And then if there are some comments, we'll take those up later. So let's just make sure I got all my IMDb pages all set up, which I do not. Just need to fix that. And now it looks like we are underway. So this will be cut out and put up on the channel later on. And yeah. So, James, let's switch this over. Audio. Are we ready, James? Yes? Ready? No? Here we go.
Thank you. Have fun. Bye.
Yeah.
Busy.
First date.
Sorry,
Interesting.
because I was nervous.
Okay, the movie is Drop, starring Megan Fahey and Brandon Sklenar. And it tells the tale of a couple out on the first date in this expensive restaurant. And she gets a text message saying that she has to kill her date. Now, it's from the director Christopher Landon, who did Happy Death Day. And my initial impressions coming out of the theater were that, this is a far out premise, right? This is a bizarre kind of situation where if you can buy into it, you have to let go some of the suspension of disbelief here, because if somebody sends you a text, you got to kill your date. Your first reaction isn't, what is this? No, your first reaction is you're going to stand up and say, I'm out of here, or I'm calling the cops. Now, they try to work around that, and that's what I mean, where you got to give up your suspension of disbelief here, because you got to buy into this concept. Now, Brandon Sklenar and Megan Fahey carry this movie, and if you buy into their chemistry, and they do have good chemistry, because this is basically them sitting at a table for the most part of this movie. And it does get a little bit tiresome of, like, you think the guy would ditch the date, right? After a while, but they try to work in some creative ways for them to always be there at the table. And I guess you have to credit a little bit of the director on this, because the way that it's edited, yes, the normal reaction is to say, okay, this is a far out there concept that would never, ever happen, but we're going to ride with it because we like the cast and we kind of like the setup and the direction. The camera angles in here, the technical aspects are fairly well executed. Brandon Sklenar is the standout here. If you don't watch him on the TV shows or whatever, I've never seen Megan Fahey before, but she did a good job in this. And it's just okay. We'll take a look at the tomato meter here in a second, but let's pull up my score sheet and start pulling in some numbers here, because I don't feel like I need to put a long-winded review in here. Acting, directing, and story are of a possible 2 points each. Cinematography and score, 1 possible point. Acting, well, Megan Fahey does a good job, and so does Brendan Sklenar, and I'll give that a 1.5. Directing, technical aspects are good. I'm going to put this as a 1 for now, but I'm going to come back and maybe give that to 1.5 because the story has an interesting premise, right? So based on that, you give it a 0.5 right up off the bat. Is it worth seeing in the theater? I would say no, but if you are interested in the cast and you like the scenario, it's not a very super, well, I guess it is sort of cinematic. It is. It's a well-framed movie, and it looks okay on the big screen. I saw it in the laser projection 4K theater. It was sharp. It was crisp. But the story itself is so audacious and ludicrous. It's, yeah, everyone's a suspect. It's kind of like you're trying to figure out who done it, right? Who's the bad guy in there? And then there are some good payoffs. There are some really good payoffs. I'm thinking of Hostel. You remember how in Hostel, when you know the bad guys are about to get their comeuppance, you feel really good about that? Well, you kind of get that feeling here in this movie too, Drop, where you kind of like, okay, those are the bad guys, get them. And it kind of pays off. Cinematography, as I said, I liked the composition in here, and they had a good, it was probably just all on a set with the volume behind there as the cityscape, right? But it was well shot. So we're sitting at 5.5 out of 10 right now. And I just want to highlight the cinematography here from the trailer, where they're sitting in the restaurant by the window here. Because if you don't buy into this, then it doesn't work, right? It does feel ominous. There you go. It helps build the atmosphere and this ominous tension that they're sitting by this big window that, well, if you saw the trailers, you know what sort of happens. And I could buy that that's just the volume behind there, and that's fine. Hey, the Batman had the volume. They did something very similar to this too, right? It was small in budget, I think. It had only a budget of 11 million, so it's poised to make some bank at the box office. Let's go over to this. Let's go over to the tomato meter and see what people are saying about this. Okay, Drop. 84% by critics, 74% by the audience. So we're almost on equal level there by the audience and critics. Critics. ABC News. This expertly done B-movie plunges breakout star Megan Fahey into one of the scariest situations ever, a first date. The dude, Brandon Sklenar, is a charmer, yet her phone keeps buzzing with text messages to kill him. Yeah, that's the thing too. It's just like you're on a date, the phone's constantly going off. They do address that, like, okay, I see you're busy tonight, so let's just try this another night kind of thing. I mean, well, we're in the middle of a movie here. Can't you see that people are watching us? All right. It's ridiculous, right? I have to fully concede that. There's just something generous about a movie like Drop, which has no ego behind it and no ambition, but to press those buttons and make the audience scream, squirm, and wonder what's going to happen next. Well, that's sort of too, like, how is she going to get out of this? How is she going to figure out this mess? Audience scores, 5 out of 5. Emma. It was a great movie, very suspenseful, says one audience member, giving it a 5 out of 5. Well, it's not that. It's not a 5 out of 5 movie. Not by a long stretch. Okay, Anthony, 2.5. And that's where we are about right now, right? Felt like a Netflix-type movie. Almost like the movie Phone Booth. Okay. Meh. Yeah, meh, but okay. Yeah, the trailer was more exciting than the movie, Tim says. So you kind of get the impression here of what I was echoing, that it's a far out premise, and if you can buy into it, then you can ride with it. But if you don't, then you're going to be like on the outside saying, well, this is kind of like, well, maybe a little bit like a streaming type movie. And I don't think it's going to challenge Minecraft at the box office this weekend. We're going to talk about that on the movie news segment over on the main channel, if you can come check that out. Okay, so let's wrap up this score sheet and submit our final score of the watchability factor. which is out of a possible 2 points. Okay, well, if you're interested in the cast, you want to see Brandon Sklenar, our potential next Batman in a movie, then this might be up your alley. If you like Megan Fahey from whatever work she's done before, you might like this as well. If you like Christopher Landon, then you might want to check this out. If you're a horror, it's not really a horror fan. It's not really horror. It's a thriller. This is a suspense thriller. There's nothing scary about this. So it's worth checking out. I don't know if it's worth checking out in the theater. I would say maybe wait for streaming, and you might get the most value out of this. 6 out of 10 for drop. Yeah, I think that's a generous 6 out of 10 as well. I mean, yeah, no, it's just above fair. It's a fair movie. It's not a good movie. It's not something that I'm going to be rushing back to see. And I know that's hard for some people to wrap their heads around. It's like, well, you said it was a good movie. No, I said it was an okay movie. It's not one that'll make you go, ugh. Like, it does have those payoffs, as I said, where the bad guys, when they get their comeuppance, you want to see it, but and then like buying into the whole premise is such a stretch, and it's just takes a little while to get in there because they spend some time here developing and setting up the whole situation. So that's what you're going to get when you go out and see the movie drop. Hey, if you like this kind of thing, come check us out on the channel, because we also do full movie reviews for the Minecraft movie, as well as the Amateur that's opening up this weekend with Rami Malek and Lawrence Fishburne. We have trailer reactions out for Tron Ares, full series reactions for Survivor Season 48, and we wrapped up Reacher 2 weeks ago, so I need to take that thumbnail down. Full movie reactions for The Electric State and The Gorge are up on the channel, and of course then we do movie news here every now and then on Fridays. So if that's your bag, come check us out right here on Mirror Domains. Okay, so these are the other headlines that I was talking about, guys, if you managed to hang around with us. So, will drop make a dent in Minecraft's box office? Which movie's going to defeat Minecraft? Toxic Minecraft? What's that all about? Interesting. Excuse me, folks. Let me just figure out what the heck's going on here. Okay. That's not working. All right. Opening up this weekend in the theaters is The Amateur, starring Rami Malek and Lawrence Fishburne. Drop, a psychological thriller. The King of Kings, what the heck is that? Warfare, a war movie from Alex Garland, right? And of course, the Minecraft is also going to be out. And I think that's probably going to be number one. But what movie will unseat Minecraft as the number one movie? Many predictors out there are saying no new releases are a match for Minecraft. Well, because Minecraft made 162 million last weekend. None of these movies that are coming out, like let's say Minecraft drops 50%, right? It's still going to be like 90 million, 95 million. No, I don't think it's going to be that high. I think it's going to probably drop 60%, so it's going to be around 85 million domestically. But you do have some options, right? We do have something for everyone this weekend. We've got a war movie, a psychological thriller, a spy caper with The Amateur. So there are some choices out there, and there is one more movie out there that some people are not talking about, but it is worth mentioning. It's called The Ballad of Wallace Island. Not a major release here, but we'll talk about that as we get through some of these numbers here, because let's take a look at The Amateur first. because Minecraft is sitting at 47%, 88 by the critics. I called this last week, actually, so I feel kind of good about it. I said that Minecraft is going to be a crowd pleaser, right? That critics didn't like it, but the audience does. And that's the way that shaped up. Minecraft had a budget of 150 million, so it's easily made its money back. Yeah. The Amateur, Rami Malek, full review is up on the channel right now. I like this movie, but I recognize that it has some slow parts in there. It was trying to be a little bit like a Jason Bourne movie, and it's got some editing issues in here where you're like, wait a minute. I like this guy. Why is he not in the movie more, right? It does have some interesting kills in there, like how he dispatches some of the bad guys that you sadly see in the trailer. But I mean, hey, it's a big showcase thing, so the movie studios are trying to showcase their product, right? Amateur had a budget of 60 million. Oi. So let's say that Minecraft comes in at Amateur's not going to make 60 million on this opening weekend, and it's definitely not going to beat Minecraft. We're going to put Minecraft at 85 million this weekend. So does the Amateur have a possibility of getting that much? I don't know. 63 by critics, 89 by the audience. Another crowd pleaser, though, right? This is what I mean. When the crowd score is higher than the critics, that's a crowd pleaser, right? Because I don't think the crowd score is going to come down a whole lot when they watch this, because there are some payoffs in here for people who like this genre, right? Just like there are people who like that game, Minecraft. And the kids seem to like it because it's very kid friendly. This is very spy friendly material that I think people will like. Drop is the other movie opening up this weekend. A psychological thriller. Megan Fahey, Brandon Sklenar star in this Christopher Landon film where a couple's out on the first date, and she gets a text message saying you've got to kill your date. And it's a far out premise. And well, hey, if somebody texts you, why wouldn't you just call 911? Well, the movie deals with those issues. It tries to go to its many lengths to explain why this is happening or how this is happening, right? And it's kind of like a whodunit. Who's the bad guy in this movie? Is it actually him, right? So that's what I mean by like the psychological angle of it, right? You're questioning everything. It'll pay off for some. It won't for others. And I think the movie is carried by Megan Fahey and Brandon Sklenar. Wait. I'm tripping up on that because of Christopher Landon, Brandon Sklenar, Christopher Landon, whatever. Anyway, yeah, if you can buy into that, it's a nice, tight little movie. It has a budget of, reportedly around 11 million. And I think that's going to be safe. I think that's going to be safe because it's not going to beat Minecraft. It's not going to make $100 million. It's not going to make over 85 million. So Minecraft's still in number one. Amateur won't do it. Drop won't do it. Drop is getting decent scores, though, by the critics and audience, right? 84% by critics, 74% by the audience. And once again, it's just one of those things where if you can buy into the premise, then you're going to be on board, because it is an interesting trying to figure out who the bad guy is, and they're showing you all the pieces. They taunt you in it with like, okay, could it possibly be this person, the waiter? Could it be the bartender? Could it be the piano player? It's like, okay, I see what you're doing here. That's what's selling the movie. But I don't think it'll be number one. Warfare is the other movie opening up this weekend. A wartime movie that takes place, I think, over like one mission, right? But it's got a good cast based on real events, right? Written and directed by Iraq War veteran Ray Mendoza. But it's also co-directed by Alex Garland, who did Annihilation. Ex Machina. And it's got a stellar cast, right? It's got the new Johnny Storm in there, right? A24 is putting this out. Will Poulter, Cosmo Jarvis, Kit O'Connor, Noah Centineo. He was up for He-Man at one point, but then he got turned down. Joseph Quinn, that's who it is our Johnny Storm. Good actor, really good actor. I hear good things about this. Oh yes, Bifer Dahab in live chat says Alex Garland also did Civil War, and that's apparently where these two met, because Civil War last year had some action scenes with war, like tanks and stuff like that, and apparently this guy Alex, or Mendoza guy, came in and helped to consult on that, Ray Mendoza. So hey, it's got like the Black Hawk Down kind of feel to it, where it's like, okay, here's the scenario. These guys get stuck in this building and they've got to get out, kind of thing, right? And it's very contained to like one kind of episodic mission that's just gone bad. And how are these guys going to survive? How are they going to endure? Will Poulter's awesome. Even though that Death of a Unicorn was kind of a mess, he was still probably one of the better parts. He's a very talented actor. Joseph Quinn also is. And I'm curious to see how these guys get out of this situation. I'm going to be taking in this movie this afternoon at 2:20. So just in about 3 hours from now, I'll be checking this out. And I'll be posting my videos for that up on the channels appropriately. 94 by critics, 93 by the audience. So I think this is the highest ranked movie. So out of them, you've got Warfare, Drop, and Minecraft. Warfare is the highest ranked here. 94 by the critics, 93 by the audience. That's very, very even. A taut and terrifying portrait of a courage under fire. Well, that's appropriate. The only agenda in Warfare, in other words, is to give you a sense of not just what happened, but how everything felt while it was happening. A tall order, to be sure, but one of that Garland and Mendoza, their cast and crew, pull off shockingly well, says Rolling Stone. So if you're a wartime, or if you're like a war movie kind of guy or person, then this seems like it'll be up your alley. Great effing movie, somebody says. One of the greatest pieces of filmmaking I've ever seen. Likely one of the greatest combat, if not greatest films ever made. That's a bit, that's a lot of praise right there. But, guys, this is the thing about movie reviewers and movie pundits that we have to take with a grain of salt. On opening weekend, you're going to get people out there that, if they only like war movies, they're going to go out and see this war movie. If they only like kids movies or movies that are family friendly, they're going to go out and see Minecraft, right? So there's bias here. Being a level-headed, measured response about all this, it's hard to do. So if I come out and say, well, Warfare was a good movie, it really was, but it had some pacing issues. I'd say if I said something like that, then people would be, right? Because only the war type people, the war movie fans, are going to be looking for reviews this weekend. It's hard to cut through some of the stuff and show people that, hey, no, I'm taking everything into consideration here when I'm dissecting these movies and trying to tell you what you're going to get the most out of it, right? That's what I try to do with my reviews, is to tell you what are you going to get out of this, and then I'll tell you if I liked it or not. I think that's valuable information. But will Warfare unseat Minecraft? Warfare only had a budget of around $20 million. I think Warfare is going to get that back, but I'm not seeing it happen, man. I'm not seeing it happen. The only other movie opening up this weekend was King of Kings, right? Is it The King of Kings? I don't know what the heck. Is this a religious movie? The story of Jesus, the carpenter of Nazareth, right? You know what? These movies they make bank. They do. Wow, starring Uma Thurman, Mark Hamill, Kenneth Branagh, Pierce Brosnan. Wow. we'll talk about Brosnan here later on in the show because in some hit or miss, we'll talk about his endorsement for the next Bond. Wow. So here's what I'm calling. I think Minecraft will be number one again. I don't think it'll be unseated. Well, actually, we'll talk about that. What will unseat Minecraft? And I'll tell you what I think will unseat Minecraft. It's going to be kind of shocking for some people to hear this. But I think Minecraft is going to unseat Minecraft. Because headlines this week said China's mulling over a ban of Hollywood films because of tariffs. And, well, Minecraft, this won't hurt Minecraft's box office too much because it's got big domestic numbers. And it'll have its other international audiences. But I've said this before, where Spider-Man No Way Home never went to the China box office, and it made 1.7 billion. So you can make billions without the China box office. But it does come at a time where Minecraft is going to be facing a few hurdles. But I think the biggest hurdle will be Minecraft itself. This disturbed me. Some Minecraft movie audiences are trashing theaters, causing chaos. I'm like, well, for what? Well, this is going back to the argument that Minecraft has its Minecraft fans. Like movies have, each genre and stars have their own kind of set fan bases. And it's come to my attention that rowdy teens are in theaters, throwing stuff, getting everybody else wet around them. And look at that's chaos. That if something happened like that while I'm watching a movie where I paid $17, I would be livid. My rage instinct. I would not be like this dude with a smile on my face. Okay, guys, you're having your fun. No. I'm a huge movie fan. I take it very seriously. I get upset if I see somebody on this too much. I'm to the point where if I see people on this too much, then I just move to a different seat where that's not in my field of view, right? Even if I had to sit closer to the screen. But this is crazy. And there are multiple instances. I saw footage of police coming in and escorting teens out, and it's become kind of a fad. And it has to do with that chicken scene in there. Somebody brought a live chicken. So this is disturbing. So you got tariffs. You've got Minecraft audiences destroying the atmosphere for people to go out and enjoy this movie. So I think Minecraft itself is going to be its own detriment. That may kick it hard enough. It's still going to be number one for the next couple weeks here, but I don't know if this kind of backlash, this kind of press will harm it in the long run. I think it will. So it may even danger it from it not making $1 billion. If it makes, it'll be hard pressed if it continues with headlines like this to make $1 billion. And it's just a shame. Viral audiences throwing food and drink. And this is all it takes. And there is the argument on the other side, well, hey, at least teens are going to the movie, but they're destroying the theater doing it. It's a communal experience, but at what cost, right? I understand that studios have this contract with theaters to have it in the theater for a certain amount of time. But if this happened at my theater and I was running it, as soon as I'm allowed to pull it out of the theater, I would have to seriously mull the cost. Okay, it cost us $300 after the audience trashed this theater so that we could come in and get the seats cleaned and damage repaired to the screen because they're throwing stuff at the screen. It's a shame. So the answer to the question of the headline out there, everybody, to my title, is what's going to unseat Minecraft. It's going to be Minecraft itself. Now, I also said that Minecraft wasn't a very good movie. I had to, for me, guys, it is one of the worst movies of the year. There's no way in hell that you would ever see me watching this movie ever again. Uh, it's an abomination. I understand the acting's supposed to be like that, but I can't sit through it. I can't. Yeah. So there's all the answers to your questions. Will Minecraft? What movie will stop Minecraft at the box office? I think it's going to be Minecraft itself. It's a weird situation. It really is. Let's move on to the next one. Toxic Minecraft. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Batman. Talking about drop. Brandon Sklenar on the link to It Ends With Us in the Future of 1923. He had a big interview there on Hollywood Reporter where he talked about his quest to play Batman. And he seems to be the number one pick out there for a lot of people. A lot of pundits are running with him. And when you see him in drop, you see, the kind of tone that he has. He could be a very suave Bruce Wayne, right? I think it's something about the smile. Come on, there we go. But can you see him with the cowl? Yeah, probably. I think that would be an interesting pick. I'm on board with the Sklenar pick, but I don't know if I'm on board with the whole 40-something Batman. And I guess I don't know. I'll have to see. We'll have to see how Gunn plays it, but we know that he's going to have a Robin around, Damian Wayne, right? Sklenar, a lot of TV work where he's getting notoriety for his work on the Yellowstone spin-offs, right? So the quote that everybody's talking about, he says here that Christian Bale is also Sklenar's favorite take on Batman. So people are asking him about this now, right? Because it's picking up traction in the zeitgeist. So Sklenar is currently the top choice among the aforementioned foreign fan casters. So he said, quote, "I have my own ideas on the character if that ever comes to fruition. He was my favorite comic book character as a child, and he's superior because he's a real man." Sklenar says, "I think there's a lot more to explore there, and there's a way to do it that makes it very real. So if it ever comes around, I would gladly take that torch. I would not take it lightly." Well, that's good. Well, you want to hear that the actor would take it seriously. And he's got the same kind of vibe as Glenn Powell. He does. But he's got a different kind of angle to the way his approach feels. Like, straight up off the bat when you see the jawline of Glenn Powell and his big smile that, okay, that's the super hunk material. But this is kind of more like a little bit more of a rugged hockey type player kind of feel I get to this guy, right? Like he maybe played some junior hockey growing up. So I think that he would be an interesting pick. And he looks like if he was all dressed up like in an expensive suit that he could play Bruce Wayne fairly well. And it would be curious. So that's the pick where people are saying that he may be Batman. Let's turn on the live chat here because I want to see what people are saying. Pfeiffer the Hobbit there in live chat. Hey, I'm going to see King of Kings. Alex Garland, Civil War. King of Kings was made for Easter. Okay, for Easter. Now, I don't think I ever looked at the trailer. King of Kings, because Easter is next weekend, right? Okay. Well, it's a religious type movie. That definitely has its audience too, guys. Remember what I said about base audiences showing up for their stuff. It is possible that, yeah, I think King of Kings could be number 2. So all the pundits out there that are saying, well, Minecraft's the only kid-friendly movie coming out this weekend. No, you also got this movie, right? From Charles Dickens. I'm so grateful these movies exist. Thank you for bringing back golden era of biblical movies. Yeah. Even with a controversial director, these religious movies still make bank, like Passion of the Christ. A lot of people had their beefs with Mel Gibson, but it still made the chatter. I've never been religious growing up. Recently, I've been feeling a lot of pull towards that guy, and this movie honestly couldn't come at a better time. James, why didn't you pronounce the name? Because I'm evil, guys. Don't you know that? No. I went and watched this movie today. It's so touching. This is a perfect movie to show your kids about the story of Jesus and what happened without it being too graphic. It was a great movie. Well, why would you try to shield them from it being graphic? And I'm not going to go down that road. Yes, the Bible is one of the most violent books ever written. And grotesque, too. Cities, complete cities being destroyed. Out of spite. Anyway, yeah, it is. I'm not going to bury myself with this story. Let's move on to Fantastic Four images. Yes, it was supposed to be a nice transition from talking about Batman into the MCU. We're going to continue on talking about superhero stuff. Fantastic Four. First Step star Vanessa Kirby talks about inspiration behind Sue Storm's pregnancy. Yes, there were a lot of fan theories out there that there's a Fantastic Four baby. I think that's jumping the shark a little bit. Give us the first 4 and then let them work as a team before inventing or bringing in a kid. But it seems like that's just the way that's going to go. Matt and I were really aware that there hasn't really been a mother with a baby in these superhero archetypes women have been getting. One of the things I love from Sue's history is when she becomes Malice and all her dark stuff comes out. I was obsessed with that chapter of her life. So I wanted to make sure that there were tones of malice in there with her, that she just wasn't the stereotype of a goody, sweet mother. Wow, that sounds like it's going to be happening. So here we go, up into space. There's Ben Grimm, right? There's the team, Sue Storm, Johnny Storm. Entertainment exclusive. Guys, I gotta be honest with you. I maybe because I've got sour grapes from the last Fantastic Four movie. Like they've tried 3 times already to try to make a Fantastic Four movie a thing that's something that fans will resonate with. The only reason why people are hyped about this version of it is because it is going to be connected to the MCU. They are going to show up in Avengers Doomsday. We know that. I do like Joseph Quinn. I do like Pedro Pascal. Vanessa Kirby. Yes. But we know that this is taking place in another dimension, right? This is not on the Earth that we know. This is somewhere else in the multiverse. Man, I don't know if people like that. Like, I'm just trying to think back to the response of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. That it was a little too much. Like the concept of superheroes already is a bit of a stretch for most people, right? But now we're adding in a cosmic element. We're adding in multi-dimensions. And that's when we go from already one to a whole list of far out sci-fi concepts. And if it's not done well, and it's done in a very cardboard type of way where it doesn't have depth or value to it like most past MC movies have been, it doesn't feel like it's set up like Endgame, right? Endgame had those concepts, had all those concepts, but we had built up to it over a certain amount of time, right? And we'll see. We'll see if people buy this. I don't know. New images. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Maybe it's just because I want to temper my expectations. I think that's it. A lot of people are really hyped, and I because I've had my hype dashed before. It's a little bit tempered. Anyway, let's move on to some horror headlines. Where are we at? 42 minutes. Wait. Orphan 3. I've wondered how Orphan 3 will bring back Esther. And Isabel Furman used a completely made-up word to tease it. When you purchase through links on our site, we may earn affiliate commission. Here's how it works. Oh, okay. So are we getting I thought we were getting an Orphan 3, right? I like the second one, actually. But you could tell in the second movie there that despite their attempts to use the de-aging, there were shots in there where you could tell that, that's an older woman's face. But actually, the way that Orphan 2 worked, it actually worked out pretty cool because it wasn't just a rinse and repeat. They tried to do something different with her character and put her on the defense, kind of against these other killers, which was cool because Julia Stiles as a murderous mother, that worked for me. I want to see more Julia Stiles taking on roles like that. Anyway, Orphan 3. What's this word that she's talking about? Well, she said in an interview with Bloody Disgusting, has made up a word for Orphan 3 will take place after the original movie or the prequel. Where will it take place? Well, she said it's both an in-between-quel. That's the made-up word. There you go. So, well, yeah, we know that Esther died at the end of the first movie. First Kill is a prequel, so it's going to take place in between those two. I think a third movie would be great about the next family that takes Esther before the Colemans did. You know what? I don't know. Why couldn't you say that she had a sister, a long-lost sister somewhere, right? And instead of having the disfigurements, you could just say that she grew up normally. And that her quest was always to try to find her original sister, right? Something like that. That's what I would do. Wilder, crazier. The previous films already knew how to throw punches. Yeah, Esther is actually 33-year-old serial killer. That's why Orphan 2 was cool. Serial killer versus serial killer. Wait. Anyway, we'll see how that comes along. Happy Death Day 3 is finally moving forward. Well, Christopher Landon, director of Drop, that we've been talking about, because he's been out doing press for Drop, he recently said that it's going to be possibly happening. He said himself, it's moving forward. The third movie is moving forward, Jessica Ross said on stage at American Cinematheque last night. Okay. I like the first Happy Death Day. The second one was doing... They were trying to explain time travel loops a little too much with their movie science. It got away a little bit from the thrill of dying over and over again and trying to figure out who the murderer is, kind of thing. It was an interesting direction, but I'll be on board for Happy Death Day 3. So, such fun revisiting and having Jessica Roth and Rachel Matthews. There was an icing on the birthday cake, more to come. So, Happy Death Day 3 is going forward at a double feature screening of the first two movies. Yeah. So confirmation. Comments. The second one was god awful. I can't wait. Can't be too excited. First was great though. These movies are fun. I'm here for it, says the fans. I didn't expect to like these movies, but they're pretty fun. I gotta watch Shaun of the Dead for making me like horror movies. Yeah, you guys know how I feel about Shaun of the Dead. So the third movie will be a musical. No, God, no, I hope not. No, don't make it a musical. Please, please, please don't. All right, let's talk about the other thing that's going on in the thumbnail of this video. Predator, Killer of Killers, animated anthology film arrives this June. Anthology film, right? So, guys, the trailer for this dropped this week, and I gotta tell you, Predator, Killer of Killers looks fantastic. So there's a anthology angle to this. So when you watch the trailer, okay, there's World War One, I think. There's some aerial dogfights going on, and then there's a predator that comes along. There's Japan, samurais. Now, guys, I think what's happened here, this is also from the director Dan Trachtenberg. So he's got his hands in this, and he's also coming out with Predator Badlands later on this year. I think they just took the premise of Predator Prey and said, oh, well, we can put Predator in all these different timelines. Okay, that sounds like a great idea. Instead of doing it live action, though, it seems like they've given it to us on the animated ground. And I would have loved to have seen a full-blown live action Predator movie with samurai. And June 6th is when this comes out. And if it's an anthology, man, like the tone of it looks pretty cool, man. But it also looks like they are leading into the mythos that was from Shane Black's Predator, where this is a species that's trying to evolve itself to be the ultimate hunters. So they're taking DNA samples from all these things, right? It's continually genetically modifying itself. So we see one flying there. But it's got an interesting feel to it. It's got that missing frames kind of animation style to it that I didn't like for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse or whatever. I know that a lot of people like that kind of missing frame stuff, but because of the tone of this, I'd check this out. And man, that looks haunting. So this looks like Viking, right? So there's going to be like 3 stories: Viking, World War One, and then Japan. That's cool stuff. Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be cool. Killer of Killers. Wow. June 6th, right? On Hulu. So hopefully Disney Plus, it looks like they will have that. And if they do, I think we'll be finishing The Acolyte by then. Or not The Acolyte. We'll be finishing up Andor season 2. Because it starts at the end of this month, right? April, May, June. And then we'll do a full live reaction to this movie when it comes out. For sure. Can't believe they actually made a show centered around predators hunting warriors, soldiers. Well, why not? That's exactly what Predator franchise should be. And they sort of were touching on that with Predator 2 about having it in the city. But they didn't build up the cop as much as they should have, right? The detective that took no BS as the main thwart. The people were more enamored with the whole it being in the city aspect. But then Predator Prey took that and ran with it. I don't know what they were doing with Predator. The Predator. That movie sucks. I liked Predators, though. Predators was interesting, but it was just a rehash, right, of the first one. But the whole idea of them going through different time periods and hunting different warriors, why not? And then that would eventually lead into them fighting the aliens, the xenomorphs. Why not? This is like most Predator fans have wanted for a long time. Prey catches fans' itch for more of it, and it's almost animated with an arcane-ish art style. My daughter worked on this. I've been a Predator fan since 1987. Made her dad proud. Can't finally wait to see it. Film is not yet rated. Rated R for rip and tear. Like how each Predator has a unique hunting style. Yeah, that's going to be cool. Harpoon. Yeah, that harpoon through the airplane. Wow. Then to see them taking on samurai as well. I can't wait for that. You know that there's going to be some cool throwdowns there. Right? All right. Predator. Killer of Killers. Cool trailer. Oscar. The Oscars are going to get a new category. The stunt category in 2027. John Wick director Chad Stahelski credits Academy with doing their homework. really doing their homework in order to honor the stunt community at the Oscars. So apparently there's been a lot of work going into this, like how they're going to diagnose each film for their stunt work, I guess. And it goes into like prep work, right? How are you going to design this? How are you going to make this look on the screen? Are we going to use volume? Are we going to use, well, live dummies? What are we going to do here? Is there going to be a mixture of live action with full CG characters? And does that count as a stunt? So it looks like Stileski's gone over what their process is going to be, and he's satisfied with the rigor that they're going to have, right? Deadline appreciates the Academy for really putting the time with the decision of how to honor the best of the stunt community. So Stileski's been producing the ballerina spinoff, right? John Wick. We've come a long way because a lot of other people have sacrificed a lot. So it's pretty cool to be here and be at the apex of an entire century of performers and coordinators and action directors. And it's a shame that a lot of them won't get to see where it all went to. Yes. So, unlike a lot of departments, we have many different coordinators, he said. We have a stunt coordinator, a flight coordinator, we have a choreographer, we have a driving coordinator, we have underwater coordinator. Yeah, that's the thing. That's why I have the highest respects for the stunt community. The inaugural film award will be 2027, and the rules for eligibility and voting category will be announced that year. Okay. Man, it's long past due. Because it's a serious part of filmmaking. And a lot of work goes into it. A lot of artistry too. Like, oh, hey, well, how are you going to get somebody to roll down a big, long escalator like in John Wick, right? Oh, well, I'm just going to do it. That's the way that they did it. Yeah, we'll have a crash mat at the bottom, but when you watch some of the stunt work, people are putting their bodies on the line for the sake of our entertainment, and I think that should be recognized for sure. All right, 2027. Hit or miss headlines. How much time do we got? We got about 6 minutes. So I said that Pierce Brosnan's name came up in that King of Kings section, but he's also given his endorsement there for Aaron Taylor Johnson as the next Bond. He was being touted for a while, even though that the Broccolis were never talking to him. And then the Broccolis sold it to Amazon, so we are going to get a Bond series. We're going to get more Bond movies. And I think Aaron Taylor Johnson would be a great pick. He would be a fantastic pick because whether you like it or not, he's a good actor. He's got range. He really does. If you saw Nosferatu last year, he's got different gears in there that he can change. Unfortunately, he's been kind of pigeonholed into actioners. Not very good actioners like Kraven the Hunter. But he's good. He is good. And the women like him. You watch reactors out there, and the girls swoon for him. So he's got that it factor that Bond would have. And he's vastly different looking. That's why I think people resonated to Daniel Craig, because he didn't look like the typical James Bond, right? I don't think he would look like a typical James Bond. And he'd be starting young enough here that he would be able to take the mantle for 10, 15 years. So I think he's a great fit. Brosnan thinks so. Although I still think that there's a way that you could have like an old man Bond story from Brosnan. I think that would be cool. Have a one-off, right? Why not? I'd be getting one-offs for Bond. I'd get one-offs for Predators. You can do that. One-off. It seems like we're going to get a one-off for Batman. If Matt Reeves ever finishes Batman Part 2, which it sounds like we may not be getting, the Batman might just be a one-off movie, and I'd be fine with that too. Although I'd be curious to see what would happen more in the Pattinson Batman universe. I really like the Batman because it was so different. Warner Bros. Discovery CEO David Zaslav, 2024 pay package. Rise. Oh, do you really care about this, guys? I was going to go on a big long rant about CEOs being overpaid. 49.7 million to 51.9. Just to sit in a chair and say, let's go in this direction. What are my choices here, guys? Okay, I want you to do this. He's got a responsibility to the stockholders. Yeah, let's not go down that. That's disgusting. Let's take some live comments here because we got some chatter going on. Hey, Chris. Chris Schober joins the live chat. Bifer says, I want Jonathan Bailey from Wicked to play the next James Bond. Let's take a look at Jonathan Bailey. He was the token stud, right? He's got a different look to him. 36. That's about the same age as Aaron Taylor Johnson, right? Could be an interesting look. Yeah. All right, let's go over to the Reddit roundup. See if I missed any headlines. Oh, yeah, and I know that the Mission Impossible trailer dropped. Did you guys like it? I gotta be honest. I'm meh. Pam Grier says black exploitation term was meant to deter black audiences. Tron Ares official teaser 6 days ago. Yeah, we watched that one. Finally watched Arrival. Austin Power movies are a joy to watch in 2025. Oh yes, they are. First image of Joaquin Phoenix and Pedro Pascal in Ari Aster's Eddington, right, where he plays a small town sheriff, right, where things start to go upside down in his small little town. Ari Aster, Hereditary is a masterpiece. There's no doubt about that. Midsummer was frustrating because it was too long. If Midsummer was like an hour and a half, it would have been much tighter, and I think it would have worked. But like the director's cut of Midsummer is like 3 hours, and it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then Beau Was Afraid came out, and that was like 3 hours, and you could tell that he had just been given too much rope. He's got talent, no doubt about that, Ari Aster. But we'll have to see. Eddington, there you go. Looking for an old Titanic film. Well, Dune 3, Robert Pattinson looking for a role. Yeah, this came out this week too. I don't know why people are saying that they're adapting Dune Messiah. Like a lot of people don't like, and they're saying in these articles too. But there's a very poignant quote where Villeneuve has said that he's not adapting Messiah because Messiah goes into a different direction with Paul's character, where Paul's the bad guy, guys, and where Dune Part 1 and 2 kind of made him look like the hero. Paul, he becomes genocidal, guys. Because that's the story and the narrative. What Herbert was trying to do is show us that even though you started with these huge noble intentions, you also become the bad guy with trying to do the right thing, right? And then people turn into sandworms and stuff by having too much spice, and it's just it's so bizarre. Hey, So I don't like adapting it. I don't see how people are going to like resonate to that. If you don't believe me, look, just read some of the synopsises. Legendary Dune. Because the way they built it up, and the traditional movie audiences expect Timothée Chalamet's character to be the hero at the end of the third movie. Even though I guess maybe they sort of laid the groundwork for it to not be, because he turned his back on Chani, right? Have her become the hero at the end of the day? I don't know. Yeah, why not? But Robert Pattinson joining, I'd have no problem with that. Even though I was kind of meh with Mickey 17, he's still a good actor. And I liked him in the Batman. He's trying different things. I'd be on board for that. The Battle of Algiers. Gillo Pontecorvo. Producer of Dread. The Phoenician Scheme. Wes Anderson. Trailer. Why don't I have a... What's going on here with this page? Oh, yeah. No, this is the... Benicio del Toro, right? Well, look at that. Look at the tone of that right up off the bat. You get a very, very Wes Anderson. I think I was the only one that liked his Asteroid City last year. Wes Anderson definitely. Was that Michael Cera? That was, right? Very quick. He's been putting in good work too, Michael Cera. But when you look at this, you can. Scarlett Johansson's going to be in that. Cool. But you instantly know that it's going to be Wes Anderson. The way he uses his focuses, zoom ins and stuff. The way he frames stuff. He's an artist's director, I think. One of the things that really stood out with me from Asteroid City was that if you worked on the stage, you were part of that artsy group of people, then this stuff screams to you. This stuff is just, this is your bag. Because there's monologues, right? There's people just talking to the camera. And there's a whimsy to his art direction. His color palette. The Phoenician Scheme. One of the richest men in Europe. Riz Ahmed, Tom Hanks, Bryan Cranston. Wow. Huge cast. Oh, yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch. Every time I think Wes Anderson has out Wes Andered himself, he goes ahead and Wes Anderson's even more. Yeah. Wes Anderson heard your criticism and completely ignored it. Yeah, well, that's the thing too. Okay. I just ripped on Ari Aster for having too much leash. But here we have Wes Anderson just still taking that ball and running with it, because he does have that audience that did resonate with it. Beau is Afraid didn't land with a whole bunch of people because it was a little too abstract. It was like trying to be Cronenbergian, but wasn't. Who's this actress? Mia Threapleton? Threapleton, is that her name? Is that who that is? "24 years old." What else has she been in? A Little Chaos, Shadows, Scoop. Oops, sorry guys. Firebrand. Michael Cera looks like he's doing something interesting here, though. He does, right? Mia Threapleton. Interesting. So, May 30th. But what I like about Wes Anderson, too, is that he seems to be able to bring in these projects with a budget. Just he's cranking out work. He did all of those short films last year, the one that we reacted to here on the channel as well. So he's able to produce material. The Phoenician Scheme. Schober in the live chat. So I'm hearing Orphan 3 James Esther is going to be alive in Orphan 3 James. Yes. Yeah, because they're going to be in between 2 and 4. Because 2 is a prequel, and then, of course, you know what happens in the first one. So it'll be between 2 and 1. I watched Asteroid City flying home from Canada. If there had been a parachute, I jumped. Terrible, in my opinion. Arglass says, yeah, it's too much for some people, because there's sections of it where it's just somebody talking in front of talking directly to the camera and saying their lines. For me, it works though, because I like Willem Dafoe. I like Jason Schwartzman. I like Scarlett Johansson. And apparently so does Wes Anderson. But I can totally understand that it's not a mix for everybody. And I think he knows that. And he fashions his movie around that budget. And there's Cranston right there, right? And there's Tom Hanks. Yeah, and that's Riz Ahmed. Interesting. And he fashions his movie around that. And look at this. This is a set. And I think this is just a movie screen. I don't think this is volume. Like, this is like proto volume. Interesting. Or maybe it's just with green screen. I don't know. Asteroid City was awesome, Bifer said. I liked it. But maybe it's because I am somewhat artsy myself. Next. Godzilla X Kong sequel has begun filming. Yeah, we know that. Somebody was just added to the cast of that. Who was it? Caitlin Dever is going to star. They just added somebody. Was it Alicia Debnam Carey? Matthew Modine, Jack O'Connell, Delroy Lindo are also part of the cast. I had fun with Godzilla X Kong. I really did. May 26, 2027. The New Empire. I think it was Alicia. Is there a Survivor watch along today, James? No, we already did that yesterday. It's up on the channel right now. Which means I have to go fix the time codes for that, but I'll do that after. I feel like I'm missing a headline from this. Somebody cool just joined this cast. Yeah, it was Alicia Debnam Carey. Yeah, there you go. She's cool. You know her from Fear the Walking Dead. She really hasn't done that much, though. Outside that. She's done a few things here and there. New list of great movies you may not have seen. Well, I've seen lots, so don't need that. The best scene in the whole movie, The Devil Man 2027 or 2007. Original stock photo used in The Shining and discovered. All right. That looks like it's it, guys. Yep, that's it for me. All right. As I said, I'll be going out to see the King of Kings. No, no, I won't. Warfare. Screen 9. 220. And at least it'll be comfortable seats. Okay. That's it. Guys, let me know what you thought about some of these headlines in the comments below, and we will talk about it. I'll chop out the edit that drop video and put it up on the review channel later on. If not, enjoy your weekend and let me know what you thought about some of these movies. The only other one that I will be getting around to seeing is The Ballad of Wallace Island. But that's at the Art House Theater, and that's not going to make a dent. That's a Carey Mulligan movie, right? That one looks like it should be interesting. Drama. What's it? The Ballad of Wallace Island. 5 million views. An eccentric lottery winner who lives alone on a remote island and dreams of getting his favorite musicians, McGuire and Mortimer, back together. His fantasy quickly turns into reality when the bandmates and former lovers accept his invitation to play a private show at his home on Wallace Island. Okay. Old tensions resurface and Charles tries desperately to salvage his dream gig. Okay. So this is the guy who won the lottery. Interesting stuff. All right. See you next time on Mirror Domains.